Hello everybody, and thank you for taking the time to watch this video presentation. I am Gabriel Ferrante and I work as a technical sales manager at SAP Valida. Today I'm very happy to drive you into a brief but intense journey through the Valida's world, and I'm sure you will enjoy it. Valida is the highly fibrillated cellulose manufactured by SAP, and in application of paints and coatings, it acts as a multifunctional stabilizer especially for waterborne coating application. Before taking off with this journey, I would like to sum up the topics we are going to focus on today. Summarize this in the TOC agenda. First of all, I will give you an introduction about SAP and about Valida. Then I will deeply dive into Valida's features and its benefits into the paints and coatings. And I will show you also two case studies demonstrating its benefits in waterborne coatings formulation. After sharing the conclusion, I will also showcase some nice sample, real-life samples that I have here with me. For those who are not familiar with SAPI, SAPI is a global diversified wood fiber group focused on dissolving pulp, paper-based solution, and high-quality functional biomaterials. SAPI has manufacturing operation on 3 continents and maintains a global position leadership and significant investment in R&D in order to respond to the growing global demand for high-quality functional biomaterials. Just to give you an example of SAPI product lines, I put here this slide, and you can see that SAPI is focusing on different aspects and products. For example, dissolving wood pulp, graphic papers, packaging and specialty papers, casting and release papers, fibrillated cellulose and biomaterials, and also forestry. Moving on to Valida. What is Valida? Well, Valida, as mentioned earlier, is highly fibrillated cellulose. And as you can imagine, this biomaterials is produced from cellulose, which is the most abundant organic polymer on Earth. It is 100% natural, sustainable, and biodegradable. And on top of that, it's free from any VOC. SAP is also focusing strongly on sustainability, so I'm happy to share with you that the raw material of Valida is sourced from FSC forest, which means sustainable managed forest. To give you an idea on what Valida is, how it works, and why it is such an innovative material, I would like to invite you to invite every one of you to watch a 1-minute video on the benefits of Valida in coating application, and I hope you will enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. As learned from it, Valida has outstanding rheological properties that were indeed shown in the video. Different types of cellulose-based materials are produced via chemical modification. Alternatively, one can peel the fibers, maintaining their length, while releasing the smallest fibril components within the cellulose fibrils. And this is how Valida is made, purely via mechanical processing. You can see from the bottom picture here that Valida forms a highly interconnected network. Another difference compared to other cellulose-based materials lies in the fact that highly fibrillated cellulose has a massive surface area. While the length of the fibrils is roughly the same, as you can see here, the width is extremely small. This is a key feature that sets Valida apart from cellulose materials and enables the network formation that we can see in the picture on the right. Valida is available in two forms, a 3% gel and an 8% paste. The two grades deliver similar functionalities. The only difference lies into the solid content. I will now quickly guide you through Valida's features that can be summarized in three points or aspects. The rheology of Valida, its robustness, and the synergy that Valida is able to develop with other ingredients into the formulation. Watching the video, we have learned that Valida has a very peculiar rheology profile, shown in this graph. It is thixotropic, high shear thinning, and has a high viscosity at rest. The high viscosity at rest helps in limiting syneresis, improving the ink and stability, and improving the anti-sagging properties. As soon as a shear is applied, the 3D network breaks down, allowing Valida to be used in different types of application, including, for example, spraying and also pumping. Here in this picture on the right, a proof of concept on the stabilization potential of Valida. When suspended in water, Valida builds a network up, which will prevent suspended particles to fall down or to sediments and separating over time. For example, here we have the jar only with water and here with Valida. The viscosity of the container containing Valida is not much higher than the water itself, but you can see how incredibly stable are the particles into the formulation, and this is basically due to the action of the 3D network and the surface area. The 3D network basically acts as a scaffold for this particle. Also, I want to mention that the fibrils, so the 3D network formed by the fibrils, is rich in hydrogen bonding, which also helps in tuning the open time of the waterborne paint. With our coating formulation, you can instantly notice the benefit brought by Valida. On the left picture, we have a formulation without Valida. On the right, the reference plus Valida. In the left formulation, we can notice a poor dispersion of the pigments and sedimentation of the pigments themselves. When adding Valida into the formulation, first of all, we have an even spreading of the color across the whole formulation, and we don't have any sedimentation. Hence, we can conclude that Valida, when introducing formulation, helps in achieving a better dispersion of the pigments and also to avoid the sedimentation, to avoid or reduce the sedimentation. I have introduced you the stabilizing potential of Valida. How we can make sure that we take full benefit out of it? Well, this is a crucial step. And I can certainly help with some tips when needed. but I would like to make sure that it's really crucial to perform a very good dispersion of Valida. A small tip can be, for example, to add the Valida during the grinding step, where usually higher shear are employed. Another aspect that sets Valida apart from other cellulose-based material and synthetic-based solution is its robustness towards electrolytes and stability towards pH. In this slide is shown a graph where the resistance of Valida towards electrolyte is summarized. We have increased the dosage of electrolyte salts, in this case two types of salts, up to 20%, and what we notice is the complete stability of Valida in this formulation. Actually, we have noticed a slight increase in viscosity, which is linked to the reduced amount of water in comparison to the amount of fibers into the formulation when increasing the salt's concentration, which is a very good aspect. Also, we have analyzed the stability of Valida in the pH range going from 1 to 13, so almost the whole pH range. And we have noticed that Valida shows good resistance in different conditions, acidic and alkaline condition. On the left graph, we have the low shear zone, and on the right graph, we have the high shear zone. At low shear, we notice a very good viscosity thickening effect around at 1 pH, for example, and a slight drop at 13 pH equal to 13, but still a very good viscosity in this case. While at high shear, basically the viscosity is independent on the pH. I would like to mention that here the dosage used was around 1% of active fiber, which is a dosage that not recommended usually for coating application. We advise much lower dosages, as you can see later on into the coating case studies. This slide or this test were carried out to show the stability of Valida in different pH conditions. In terms of solvent compatibility, we have proven the stability of Valida in solvents under the following condition. The solvent is polar to a degree, and the solvent is capable of creating hydrogen bonding. It is clear that up to 10% of solvent into the formulation is not a problem. When increasing the dosage of the solvent into the formulation, there are different results. Although it is clear that viscosity is positively impacted if the solvent follows the criteria highlighted earlier previously. The high surface area and intrinsic features of Valida makes Valida compatible with several types of ingredients into coating formulations, including other rheology modifiers, either cellulose-based or synthetic-based. In this specific slide, I want to show you the synergy between Valida, also the difference and the synergy between Valida and HEC, a common additive used in coating formulation. First of all, on the left side of the slide, the storage modulus of Valida and HEC is shown. We can see that 100% of Valida in formulation and 0% of HEC. So basically the storage modulus of Valida is almost 2 orders of magnitude higher than one of HEC. And this explains also the much higher stabilization feature of Valida compared to HEC. Then basically we see that when we have in formulation 80%, a ratio of 80 to 20 Valida compared to HEC, the storage modulus is not affected by HEC. On the right side we have a viscosity graph. where we can summarize we can note the synergy between Valida and indeed HEC. Basically, we have when Valida is in formulation with HEC at a dosage higher than 50%, we can notice that there is indeed a synergy between these two ingredients, leading to a boost in viscosity. And what does this mean? Well, this means that we can, when adding Valida in formulation, this can potentially lead to a lower dosage of HEC while still achieving the target viscosity and benefiting also from the outstanding features of Valida in terms of stabilization performances and also mechanical reinforcing, as we can notice later. From here on, I would like to share with you two case studies. The first case study is an architectural coating formulation. Here, the formulation is shown with the manufacturing process. Valida is introduced as a partial replacement for two commonly used rheology modifiers, as you can see here. And due to the synergistic effect that I explained just a couple of minutes earlier, when introducing Valida at 3% of the base grade, we reduce the dosages of the common rheology modifier mentioned. First benefits, I would like to show you the improvement in lowering the syneresis issue or challenge. Valida is highly effective, in fact, in lowering the syneresis, as you can see here. The reference formulation shows a high degree of separation. Already introducing 1% of Valida into the formulation, the degree of syneresis basically is halved, until basically almost solved when adding 5% of Valida into the formulation. And I would like also to point out that this formulation successfully passed a 6-month stability test in an oven under 40 degrees. In the video, we have seen that Valida is thixotropic. It means that when removing the stress, the viscosity recovers. This recovery in viscosity allows for improved anti-sagging properties, as we can see here compared to the reference. Also, the quick recovery in viscosity helps also in the leveling to take place. Among the different benefits that Valida delivers, we have seen the stabilization one, but Valida is also able to improve the chemical and mechanical resistance. So not only the rheology. From the table here on the left and the pictures here, we can easily understand that Valida improves the stain resistance of the coating layer or formulation, especially towards acidic solution, for example vinegar, lemon, and nitric sulfuric acid. And we can see here in the picture the difference between the reference formulation without Valida and the one with Valida. Much lower stain on the layer. Industrial and architectural coating, it's important to ensure a good resistance to scrap. Valida and its 3D network improves significantly the resistance to scrap. In particular, we have performed wet scrub resistance test according to the ASTM standards at both cycles, 36 and 60 cycles. And we have noticed that when adding Valida, the wet scrub resistance of the formulation is actually improved. Moreover, increasing the dosage of Valida from 3% to 5%, so the higher the dosage of Valida is, the better is the performance. Also here I'm referring to 3% of the paste grade of Valida. Another common challenge occurring in the waterborne coating is mud cracking, which is peculiar of very thick coating layer, as we can see here. The first picture on the left, I hope you can see, shows severe cracks onto the surface of the layer. When adding Valida already from 3% of the paste grade, those cracks start to disappear until completely disappearing when adding 5% of the Valida paste. And why this happens? Well, this is basically due to the synergy between two different aspects of Valida, or basically features of Valida: the water retention and the 3D network. Firstly, the 3D network is able to evenly delocalize the stress across the whole surface instead of only in few spots of the surface. And this, of course, helps. Secondly, the water retention helps in slowing down the evaporation, which also lead to lower cracks due to evaporation during the drying period. This benefit can potentially result in less time for applying very thick layers of coatings, meaning reducing the number of applications for achieving a very specific thickness. We have proven results that Valida reinforces polymers and coating layers, and I'm happy to share with you also one interesting learning. Generally speaking, when the stiffness increases, we have noticed that the flexibility decreases. Well, when adding Valida, we have seen very surprisingly that it's able to improve either the stiffness but also the flexibility, which is quite a rare combination to have. The second case study is an industrial coating formulation. Here we added Valida at 4% of the paste grade, again, and we have analyzed different aspects of the coating layer according to ASTM standards, as you can see here. And when adding Valida, we can notice overall better performances, but I would like to focus more on three aspects: the chemical resistance, the scratch hardness, and the flexibility. The chemical resistance of the coating, measured by the MAC double rubs, increased by almost 20% when adding 4% of Valida. The scratch hardness, measured by the pencil hardness, also improved. Here below the table you have the rating value, and we can see that the standard formulation has a value in terms of scratch hardness of B. When adding Valida, the scratch hardness improved up to a value of H. Also, at the same time, the flexibility improved. Here, the lower the value, the better is the flexibility. So we can see that the standard formulation, the reference formulation, has a value of 7, and the the formulation including Valida shows a value of 3. So also here a very nice improvement in this regard, which can be really beneficial for industrial coating, for example. Finally, to conclude, before concluding, I want to showcase one successful example of Valida when incorporating into a formulation. The application here is a colorful paint, a typical paint used for the exterior of commercial buildings and hotel buildings, where little stones are incorporated into the paint formulation and then sprayed onto the surface, as you can see here, for example. A common challenges when formulating these paints are, for example, hard sedimentation issue, spraying issue, and so on. Well, when adding Valida, we have noticed that the ink and stability greatly improved. The hard sedimentation challenge did not occur. the sprayability and efficiency of the paint were improved, and also the mechanical properties of the finished surface improved. Now, on the right side of the slide, there are two videos that I'm going to show you. On the left, of course, we have the reference, and then the formulation included in Valida. In the reference formulation, you can see that after stirring, the stones, little stones, don't stay in place, but sediment. When using Valida into the formulation, you can see a huge difference. The stones are stabilized by Valida and stays in place without sedimenting. And this, of course, is a massive improvement, because also, apart from a better stabilization, doesn't show any hard sedimentation challenge issue. As you can see, after 24 hours, the reference formulation has all the stones sedimented, while the 3D network of Valida and the high surface area of Valida helps in keeping the stones in suspension. Finally, to conclude, Valida is indeed one single additive. However, it brings multiple superior functionalities to the waterborne coatings. In wet paint, it improves the ink and stability, improves the anti-sagging without no impact on leveling, improves the sprayability. It is robust and is able to tune the open time. In terms of dry paint, Valida helps in achieving higher mechanical performances, helps in solving the mud crack issue, and also delivers matting properties solution. Now, I will showcase some sample to you, just to give you an idea of what Valida is and how it performs in the real life. So I will stop sharing my screen, and I will share my camera with you. I will now showcase to you some nice samples that I have here with me. First of all, I would like to show you how Valida is, basically. So let's start with the paste. This is the appearance of Valida paste, so it looks like white clay. Now I will show you Valida gel, the 3% gel, which we have seen looks like a yogurt. You can see here, it really looks like a yogurt, very nice. Now, some other samples I need to show you. Let me put it here, this here. We have been discussing so far about the stabilization features of Valida, and I will show you how Valida is good in stabilizing pigments, and also how it's good in solving the hard sedimentation issue that we also mentioned earlier during the presentation, so the recording. First of all, let's start with the pigment stabilization. This is a formulation containing simply water, 5% of Valida paste, and some pigments, prepared almost 1 year ago. Hope you can see. These are like pigments are very well suspended into the formulation. Now I will show you also how Valida is good in solving the hard sedimentation issue. Challenge, let's call it challenge. Here we have the reference solution prepared roughly a couple of months ago. And you can see there is a little bleeding on top. If I shake it, you see that there is phase separation and the solid part stays on the bottom. If I shake it, let's wait a little bit. it's still hard and doesn't flow. Now we have the reference plus Valida, also prepared a couple of months ago, same time. In this moment you cannot see any bleeding. However, sometimes it can happen that you have a thin layer of liquid on top. What's very nice is the fact that there is no hard sedimentation. So you can, when I will move the jar, you will see flow, basically. You can see here, very nice. And this, of course, has numerous advantages at industrial level. So I hope that you enjoyed the presentation and also this showcasing. And of course, we can support with other, we can support you and your formulation as soon as you have need for that. I wish you a nice day or evening, depending on when you are watching this presentation, and stay safe. Bye bye. So